You like that?
Welcome back to the Villain Report, where we're not sugarcoating anything. I am your host, Russell Wayne, the UDFA of sports podcasting, the unwanted, the unfiltered, the unapologetic voice of the fan base that bleeds Honolulu blue. Drop your thoughts into the live chat. Minnesota Vikings got beat down. Gosh, I think I was talking too much good stuff about the Minnesota Vikings, trying to be there with the other three teams in the North, but they are just not good. This episode is brought to you by Fanatics. Fanatics.com. If you bleed Honolulu blue and you want to gear up like the real one, go to our official merch partner, Fanatics. Fanatics.com. You can use this code, save up to 25% off of your order from our affiliate marketing partners over at Fanatics. We don't do knockoffs here at the Villain Squad. We do official. We do Fanatics. Get yours. Connect with the Villain. If you're a fan of the 313 Sports, any of those teams, you need to connect with the Villain. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you scroll, the Villain rolls. And here we are. It's a beautiful Friday, TGI Friday. To all of my friends, it's faith, family, and then football in that order. We use football, spend time with our family, create memories. Don't become a butthole when you lose. We'll see how many Viking fans are in here today. But it is Friday. How was your week? Davey, you're in here.
That?
Davey's in here. He's the only one that gets the hello today. Everybody else went into witness protection. That's all right. Must have had a lot of Viking fans on here. The Vikings get beat down. Beat down 37-10. They didn't even bother showing up. They must have left half the team over there in Minnesota. I mean, because the Chargers don't have any fans. That's an easy stadium to take over. I don't know what they like over there. 37-10. And it wasn't even that close. They got beat down. Pathetic. Carson Wentz, pathetic. 15-27. They beat up on him all day, 144 yards. I mean, are you kidding me? The Chargers held them, even with Aaron Jones coming back healthy, averaging 3 yards a carry. I mean, what are you going to do with that? 34 yards on the ground. Justin Jefferson caught 7 balls. And they called this guy the best wide receiver in the league. Justin Jefferson had a couple of years that were okay. Top of the league, deserved to be called, but only the truly great ones continue to show out. And looks like Justin Jefferson's been figured out. They're not a threat to anybody in the poor Vikings. I don't have any sympathy for the Vikings. Last year they played way above their head, winning 14 games. I mean, is Sam Darnold really that good? I mean, it looks like he's doing okay over there in Seattle. But next week, the Lions get these Vikings. Vikings that played their game. We are officially the next team on the Vikings list. And I'll tell you right now, you're going to get beat down again if you play like that. Awful. Awful. The Vikings just aren't a good team. Their defense has been figured out. I mean, unless O'Connell completely turns that around, you know, gets them seeing things differently. Because right now they don't have an answer for anything. I mean, could they get J.J. McCarthy back? Will that even help? Is J.J. McCarthy their savior? Because we're sitting here watching this guy, and he's okay. He beat the Bears when the Bears were bad in the first week. Other than that, the Vikings don't look good. Teams are starting to show their true colors by week 7. I mean, you're hoping that your team isn't exposed after week 7. After week 8. You hope that your team's been doing a upward trajectory. What did you think? What did you think of that Vikings performance last night? Did you actually stay up and watch that piece of crap? Was that cool to see Jim Harbaugh out there? I mean, the NFL schedule makers knew what they were doing. I mean, they had J.J. McCarthy going up against Jim Harbaugh, but they didn't get to put that on the marquee like they wanted to at the beginning of the season. NFL schedule makers know what they're doing. It's J.J. McCarthy versus Jim Harbaugh. I love that kid. I love him so much that when we have a chance to take him, we're not going to take him. And kudos to the Chargers, by the way, for taking a top tackle in Joe Alt. They got the best offensive lineman in that draft class. They didn't fall for the fool's gold, J.J. McCarthy. I mean, if McCarthy's so damn good, why didn't the Chargers take him? Obviously, he believes in Justin Herbert in there. But if you're starting over your regime and you believe in a young quarterback as much that you got to develop for 4 years, you could have traded Justin Herbert and got somebody to way overpay for him. Or maybe not overpay for him. But you get a couple first-round picks out of him, and then you could have J.J. McCarthy. I'm not buying J.J. McCarthy. I don't care if he comes back or not. J.J. McCarthy can go ahead and come back. The Chargers beat down the Vikings last night. And the Chargers had a chance to take J.J. McCarthy. And they didn't. They stuck with Justin Herbert. They could have reset the franchise like the Lions did by trading away Matt Stafford. Could have reset the franchise, got yourself some ones, and go with the quarterback that you want. But they didn't do that. Why? Why? Jim Harbaugh coached him for 4 years. Oh, I love this kid. Well, you don't love him enough to make him a franchise quarterback on your team. If he was that good, Jim Harbaugh would have pounded the table, and they would be going with J.J. McCarthy if he was that good. Tell me I'm wrong. And now you got Carson Wentz in there. And I don't know if there's some of the fan base that's out there for the Vikings that's still buying into this J.J. McCarthy hype. Oh, but Tom Brady said that he was really, really good. Yeah. Well, where did Tom Brady go to college at? Oh, he went to Michigan. So I'm going to talk good about my Michigan boy. You bet your franchise on it? Will you bet your franchise on it? The Vikings did. They bet that franchise on it. Oh, look now. We got a quarterback on a rookie deal. So what? He ain't that good.
It's my quarterback.
Now, mentally, he might be the strongest in the NFL. Whatever. I mean, J.J. McCarthy's got a great mental makeup, and that's his strength. But this is the best of the best. Pathetic showing by the Vikings last night. Pathetic. The rest of the NFC North is running away. Vikings are not good. The Bears look better than the Vikings. The Lions are better than the Vikings. The Packers are better than the Vikings. Right now, everybody's going to get better. They're getting better. But the Vikings are going backwards. You can't win without a quarterback. You got to have a quarterback. So we got some. Rick says that the Vikings can't protect their quarterbacks worth a crap. Even John, man, you know that the Vikings are bad if John Dorn's in here talking about the Lions in a good way. John says that the Lions are going to put 40 burger up on Fool's Gold Vikings. Chargers should be arrested for child abuse on the Vikings.
You like that?
Good morning, Tyler.
You just made the list.
Good morning to the Central Scrutinizer.
You just made the list.
Delicate J.J. McCarthy, shout out Max Brosmer.
You like that?
Mark Orlando says that J.J. will be fine. He needs reps that he hasn't had but won't be excelling this year. I don't buy that. That sounds like an excuse. That sounds like an excuse because it seems like other quarterbacks can come in and, you know, show that medal right off the bat. I think J.J. McCarthy was overhyped coming into the draft that he was picked in because they won the national championship. And the Vikings are going to pay for it because he's not that good. Because J.J. McCarthy isn't that good. And maybe I'll eat my words. I don't mind eating my words. You got to prove me wrong. I'm not going to sit up here with delicate J.J. McCarthy and think that he's going to be a threat to beat on the Lions. I agree with John. I think the Lions are going to put a 40 burger on the Vikings. And even if J.J. McCarthy is good, they're still going to lose. It's not like we haven't had quarterbacks be able to put up points on the Lions. The Lions with a good defense should scare everybody in the NFL. Because our offense is good. Our offense has been good. Our offense has carried us for 3 years. And now it seems like the defense is starting to turn the corner. But there's one thing that is for certain. Over the 3 years that we've been here, and I'm not counting 2021 because that was the building year. But Jared Goff owns Brian Flores. He's owned him his whole career. I ain't worried about the Vikings. The Lions are going to score on the Vikings. Put a 40 burger up on him. And there ain't no way you're scoring 40 points against our defense. With Carson Wentz or J.J. McCarthy. Yeah, I think that the Vikings got a bust quarterback. A bust. J.J. McCarthy's going to be a bust. They will still be looking for a quarterback in 2 years. Because what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to afford to keep all these people, and you're not going to. And eventually, J.J. McCarthy isn't going to be able to throw to all of these all-pro wide receivers and tight ends and all these drafted guys. The bill comes due. Your window of bill is going out the window. You're going to get done with this year, and J.J. McCarthy is going to be going into his third year with nothing to show for that rookie contract. And then now T.J. Hawkinson's going to want to get his dollars. You know, the other backup tight end that you gave a max contract to for a backup tight end is going to want to get paid. You got to hit while your guys are still in their window of rookie windows. I think last year, schematically, Brian Flores came in. Brian Flores surprised some teams with his his style of defense. His style of defense being able to attack. And I love the concept of it, but teams that have good offensive lines and quarterbacks that can make decisions quickly, they own that defense. I mean, if you send all your guys, you're leaving a lot of wide open space. And if you got an offensive line and some tight ends that can chip and they're sending like 7 guys and you just stop them for a half a second, a guy like Jared Goff's going to carve that up all day long. No problem. He's been doing it. Oh, you're exotic blitzes. Well, we know how to maneuver with our offensive linemen to make sure all the guys get blocked. Now, that didn't happen right off the bat. Our rookie and Mahogany definitely had a hard time in the first week against the Packers. really had nothing to do with the Packers in that game. Had more to do with our offensive linemen not knowing where to go yet. But this is different now. This is week 7. The guys got their legs underneath of them. Hank Fraley's got his work in there. And now our offensive linemen are fine. And they'll pick up those blitzes. And another thing that you can do against a defense like that, because they had a lot of no-name guys on their defense, and then they put some names in there. Well, now you have Grenard, you have all of these different players. Look out now. We got players. We got Jonathan Allen. So what? You overpaid for defensive linemen. I remember Broski talking about that earlier. You spend all this money on these aging players now. And Jonathan Allen was digressing last year. So now you have a defense that's been exposed now, and you still haven't figured it out. You can still create turnovers. I'm not saying that you're not going to get some stats. You're not going to get some. You'll get some stats. You'll beat up on some teams like the Browns. When you look at their wins, you got beat by the good teams. You barely beat the Browns. You beat the Bengals. And you beat the Bears. I mean, that's your wins. You beat the Bears by 3 points, and really the Bears should have beaten you. But J.J. McCarthy played his one good quarter of his NFL career. And everybody was all high on them. So they go from the Bears winning 27-24 to playing the Falcons. And the Falcons were able to run all over that Swiss cheese. Hello? Is my mic off? For real? Is my mic still off? Hello? Hello? Mic's working fine. Okay, John's trying to mess with me. Okay. Anyway, the Atlanta Falcons pulled up a dump truck and beat that ass. And the Vikings are okay. Or I mean, not the Vikings, but the Falcons are okay. They got a good running back, right? And then you beat down the Bengals without Joe Burrow. And that's something that like everybody in the North has done. Then you get beat by the Steelers. Let's look at the Steelers game over here. Aaron, 18 for 22, 200 yards. There you go. Steelers. Carson Wentz throwing 2 picks, 350 yards. So you get beat by the Steelers. And then you barely beat the Browns. The Browns don't have, I mean, they don't really have anything. And then you get beat by the Eagles. And then you get dump trucked by the Chargers. So every good team that you faced beat your ass. And every bad team that you faced, you barely won. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. I was never muted. Everybody can hear me. That's cool. Thank you guys for having my back. That way I don't have to get like super style trolled by John Dorn. You never know anymore. I'm sure he didn't do it. And yeah, nobody wants to talk about the Browns. I know that you guys don't want to talk about the Browns, but what we can talk about, John Dorn. I mean, the Lions don't got a game, so I got nothing to do but then to talk a little bit of trash about these other teams in the North. And you got the Pittsburgh Steelers playing them Packers. The Aaron Rodgers. This is actually going to be fun when you really think about it, don't you? I mean, what do you think, John Dorn? Is this a good game for you guys? I mean, what do you think of this game? Because this is, you know, on the marquee, they're going to show a whole bunch of Aaron Rodgers. Oh, look out. Here comes Aaron Rodgers. Who's going to win? It's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. Let me get this up. Let me get the schematics of this game in here for you. All right. So you got Packers versus the Steelers. You're in Pittsburgh. And do you think it's going to be a bunch of Aaron Rodgers getting revenge against the Packers? Or is it going to be a bunch of Micah Parsons dropping Aaron on his head? Because the way I look at that game is I see it as a low-scoring game. I mean, Jordan Love's been kind of, I mean, if you look at his numbers, I mean, it ain't been perfect for the Packers, but here's the thing, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'll be the first person to tell you, it doesn't matter how you get the wins. Because if you can get wins while you're not playing good, that's what the Packers are doing. I don't think the Packers are playing all that great. But they're getting wins while they're not playing great. And this is the NFL season, remember. And Green Bay can get hot. And right now they're winning games without being hot. It really doesn't matter what's happening right now. As long as you make enough wins to get into the playoffs, then you should be all right. So the Packers started out the season by beating us. And I do put that more on, we weren't ready. And that's not an excuse. That's just what it was. We weren't ready in that game. At least on the offensive line part. And the Packers, they took advantage of it. They went right after it. Kudos to LaFleur. I think LaFleur's a good coach. Going right after it. They came right out. And they won. And then I think, which is another quality win, they went and they beat the Commanders. And that's different Commanders than the Commanders that you're seeing right now without Jaden Daniels. And then they tripped and fell and lost to the Browns. They probably should have won that game, but they didn't. And then they tied the Cowboys, which I don't know which one of those would hurt worse. Tying the Cowboys or losing to the Browns. I mean, trading for a defensive player and then going up against that team and having that team, even with you, with that awesome defensive player, they put up 40. They put up 40. And the Packers, you know, the Bengals, you know, they are what they are. Packers ended up pulling away in that game, and then they struggled a little bit against the Cardinals. But they won. They're 3-1-1. They're 4-1-1. Or is it 3-1-1? What are you guys? Yes, 3-1-1. Am I right there? Am I right, John? Is it 3-1-1 or 4-1-1? Okay, 4-1-1. I'm one game out. They're 4-1-1. In the loss and the tie, I mean, that's what we're focusing more on right here, right? But they have 4 wins. Got some arguments in here. Mark Orlando, I agree with you, man. Losing to a great defense is not as bad as a tie with a team that has no defense. And then the other caveat on top of that is the fact that that defense that has no defense, and the reason they don't have any defense is because they traded their best player to the team that you were playing. And then having that offense throw up 40 against that new age defense. I mean, let's be real about this. Why do you think that is happening? Well, I think Devontae Wyatt is a way bigger key to the success of that Green Bay Packer defense than what people would admit. Because you can have a great pass rusher all day long. I mean, Micah Parsons could be the greatest pass rusher in the National Football League. But you still have to get pressure in the middle. And I think that Wyatt is a big piece in that. John says Wyatt is coming back this week. So you may have just given me the clue to how I would bet this game versus spread. Because I think he's a difference maker. I think Devontae Wyatt will be the reason that the Packers will beat the Steelers this week. And I'll go on that. You know, Jordan Love hasn't been playing all that well. He hasn't been playing bad. But you wanted to see that upward trajectory thing. And he's struggling against, you know, like Arizona is struggling against the Bengals a little bit. So that's what you want to see. So Green Bay's getting some players back. And that's what you got to do. You got to weather the storm. A lot like what the Lions did. You know, you're playing a good team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you got all these injuries. You got to weather the storm. And then you get those guys back. That's what you like. You get some wins. Lions sitting there at 5-2, and we got some reinforcements coming back. It ain't as dreary as it was even going into the playoffs last year. You know, trying to, you know, pump yourself up to win a Super Bowl title, and you're down your best players. It's hard. You know, I had hope that the Lions would beat the Commanders last year, but in the back of my mind, just like every other Lion fan that's out there, there's no Hutchinson, no Aleem, there's no Carlton Davis. You know, there was going to be no Amik Robertson for the rest because he got injured in that game too. It's like you want to hope going in there, but sometimes that's all it is. It's a hope and a prayer. The best teams in the NFL are hard to beat, even when you're at full strength. So there is a luck thing that is involved a little bit when it comes to the winning team in the Super Bowl. I mean, look at the Philadelphia Eagles last year. I mean, everybody won, they won. But look at how healthy they were. You know, they got to the playoffs and they were sitting there relatively healthy. Offensive line, healthy. Defensive line, healthy. So you want to get their help, but you got to make sure that you can win games without your best players. How good is your depth? Like when you do get an injury, how well does your team perform? So on the other end, we also have the Chicago Bears and the Bears. So the Bears, it looks like Ben Johnson is turning around this team. And they're going to get a good test this week. I mean, are they going to have any Lamar Jackson? Will Lamar Jackson be playing? I mean, that's really the biggest question. Because unless Lamar Jackson is playing, then that'll determine whether I would pick the Bears or not. Because I think that the Baltimore Ravens are definitely better than a 1-5 team. I mean, don't you think? Aren't they better than 1-5? You know, that's a perfect example of, you know, a little bit of the luck showing up. Because you can't predict that somebody's going to get injured or not. You never know who the injury is going to be. So the Bears, they started out with that loss, and then they got beat down by us Lions, but then they were able to string together some victories. A victory against the Cowboys, a victory against the Raiders, a victory against Jaden Daniels. Was it against Jaden? But was it really against Jaden? It was. So they beat a Jaden Daniels team. There he is. So, and then the Bears beat down the Saints. Good victory against the Saints, but there they are. But this seems like a different team. I think that this Bears team is on an upward trajectory because they have the talent. Ryan Poles has been bringing talent. Ryan Poles has been bringing talent onto this Bears team. So it's just about a matter of putting it together. Can those guys play together? Can this duct-taped offensive line that they spent a lot of money on, little combo action between some of your young offensive linemen and bringing in studs from other teams. But can they play together? Well, Ben Johnson seems to be putting it together. And what's the difference between this and every other Bears season? It seems like it. Every year they tell you the same story back since Mitch Trubisky, Rex Grossman. Oh, look out. Here come the Bears. Look at these. Look at this quarterback. We drafted Mitch Trubisky. We're coming to get you. Oh, no, I know Mitch Trubisky wasn't that good. But now we have Justin Fields. Look out. It's like you ain't going to do anything until you get coaching and ownership on the same page. But now we have Caleb Williams. You still got shit ownership. You still got a shit coach. And then they bring in Ben Johnson. Now the difference. Now I remember when they hit the last year Justin Fields, I think that they started out where they were one of the top teams, and then they went. Pew. They ended up losing a whole bunch of games at the end, and then there you go. The difference is, this season you started out 0-2. Now, a lot of teams, when you start out 0-2, which is one of the reasons why 0-2 teams don't make the playoffs very much, is they start 0-2 usually because they're a bad team and they really don't have a chance to move it up and be good. But Ben Johnson put something different in there. He must have put something different in that water, because they've ripped off 4 in a row after losing their first 2 games. And that's the thing that is uncharacteristic. The difference between the Mitch Trubisky regimes and the Justin Fields regime, and even the regime last year that had Caleb Williams. The difference is he's got the players to buy into the system. They got a good defense. Dennis Allen is a good defensive coordinator. He came from the New Orleans Saints, and New Orleans Saints had a pretty good defense every year that Dennis Allen was there. I mean, they ran into a problem that a lot of teams run into, is like you can have the good rest of the team, but you need consistency at the quarterback position. So, Broski, you're the Bear fan in here. This is exactly what it is. Bear Lines is actually improved. The center, Dahlman, Tooney, and Wright, 3 best players in the league at their position this season. Well, that might be a little bit of a stretch with that, but they are good players. I'm not going to agree that they're the best at the position. I'm sure that you got some sort of metric that backs that up. But that's what it took. It takes all of those guys being able to play together. You can have great offensive linemen, but until they start playing together, you just got guys. And now they're actually looking like they're starting to play together, like a unit, an offensive lineman unit. So I'm on the Bear, I guess, bandwagon or whatever. Thinking that the Bears could turn it around. A couple of years ago, I made the prediction that the Bears would pass everybody but the Lions when it came to the long term here. I think that they've built their team in a way that's a little more sustainable than other teams. Because one thing about like the way that the Bears are going that is in common with what the Lions have done is you have built your team to where you can sustainably move that forward. Okay, I got you, Bear. I got you, Broski Bear. I'm actually trying to be on your side right here, so yeah. I misread what Broski typed. He didn't say that they were the best at the position, but I didn't give you that hard of a time on it anyway. I would just disagree with you, but I'm not gonna. But the thing is like they're playing well enough that there are some Bear fans that are out there that might make that claim, and even if you did make that claim that they were the best at their position, I wouldn't give you a hard time about it. I'm not such a homer to my team that you must bow down, broski, to Penei Sewell and his greatness. Penei Sewell's a great tackle. Nick and Wright is a good tackle. Tooney's a good center. You know, I mean, I wouldn't. It's like you're either playing well or you're not. Doesn't really matter. You got a guy that can play center or he can't, you know? And the difference between the two is one gives up sacks and the other one doesn't. Oh, man. You know, this is the central screwdriver said Goff used to get happy feet. I would say maybe 1 year of his career, he really gets happy feet. Every quarterback gets happy feet. Because by definition, happy feet is, oh shit, here comes the defensive line. My guys didn't block. That's what happy feet is. You know what unhappy feet is? Oh, I got sacked. Unhappy feet is a sack. So be happy to have the happy feet. The happy feet mean that you haven't been sacked yet. And the only reason you'd get happy feet is if the pressure's coming. So Goff's one of the best in the league against the blitz. And no quarterback handles interior pressure well. I love how the cases get made against Goff, like not like every quarterback doesn't go through it. Now, Goff isn't going to spin out of anything and do anything crazy, but I'll tell you what Goff does do really well is he manipulates the pocket well. And he can move around in the pocket and be in an open spot for him to throw the football. Now, he's not going to be doing too much of the Mahomes running for first downs, but I understand what you mean, Central, by happy feet. I understand. It sucks when the pressure is bearing down on a team. Now, I thought this was going to be a shorter show, but I didn't think I really wanted to talk about all the other teams all that much. But I was able to pull off a full show of the Lions Villain Report chilling on the bye version. It's a chilling on the bye TGI Friday here on the Villain Report. Put a shout out to our sponsor for the program, which is fanatics.com. You can hit that QR code, and please, if you're going to buy some merchandise and you're hearing the words that are coming out of my mouth and you're out there ready to get a jersey, just remember, I'm a blue collar guy. If you use that link, I could save you up to 25% off of your order. By the best deal that Fanatics has, you're not going to get it cheaper by going to a different site. As a matter of fact, you may get it cheaper by using this link. And when you use this link, you help out a blue-collar guy like me. I don't got no corporate sponsorships, big sponsorship. This is affiliate. They chose us to be an affiliate marketing partner, which means that if you use the link, you're helping out the page, and I appreciate that. And what pages do you say? Right now, we're broadcasting live into YouTube, Facebook, and X. I do have content available on the Instagram and the TikTok, so wherever you scroll, the villain rolls. And if you're a fan of Detroit sports, give me a follow. Hit a comment. Hit the like button. If you're liking if you like football and you like football talk and you're a fan of Detroit sports, it's a perfect little marriage that we can have. So, faith, family, then football. It's in that order. That's what keeps me on the air. It's my faith. My faith always comes first. Family and then football. And that way, when you have bad losses, you don't have to change your demeanor. You don't have to turn into a bad person. You can just take your loss on the chin and move on, because it's just football at the end of the day. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I may be the most diehard Lion fan that there is, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to let it change me no matter what. Or at least I'll do the best that I can at that. So I appreciate you guys for jumping on today. One last shout out to all my peeps, faith, family, then football. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Mark, Davey, Broski Bear, staying there. Even John Dorn, I thank you too, buddy. Rick C., James Willis, Becca. What's up, Becca? Paul Jones. Thank you guys for making me a part of your morning, Tyler.
Like that?
What's up, Central Scrutinizer? Danny. Appreciate you guys. Have a blessed weekend. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. I hope John's still on here.
You just made the list!
Hope John's still on here, because I don't know if he got a chance to see this one yet. But I'll leave you with this one right here.
Let me tell you something, brother. Everybody want to crown the Packers like they're the kings of the North. But baby Ric Flair here to remind you, there's only one champion in this division. The Lions are sitting pretty at 5-2, and Green Bay, you're 4-1-1, talking about being Week 7 champs like that means something. The last time Baby Nature Boy checked, 5 is 1 more than 4. And that means the Lions do more winning. You're out here getting beat by the Browns. You barely crawled past the Bengals and Arizona. You may have got a fluke victory Week 1, but that doesn't change the fact that we get to go one more time on Thanksgiving. Because to be the man, you gotta beat the man. And right now, the Detroit Lions are the man.